What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Matt Llewellyn, Christian, Anthony, Dion, Brandon. We got the whole Niners Hive gang here. Matt, we did it. The Niners took care of business, 23-17. Close win, way too close of a win. How you feeling?
I'm going to tell everybody watching right now, if you're a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, you better buckle up because this is going to be a Jimmy hater zone today. Y'all can call us Jimmy haters if you want, but we all are going to keep it real, and we know exactly what happened. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo tried to give this game away, and the defense just did not let them. The Cowboys were giving it back to us with 14 penalties. The defense did a pretty good job, minus a couple of things, which we'll get to later. But I think this is kind of the nail in the coffin. I don't know what Jimmy Garoppolo can do, even with a Super Bowl, that is going to keep him here. He is just too inconsistent to be somebody that you can count on for the long term.
Yeah, it was really, really tense at times, man, because the Niners, it should not have been as close of a game as it actually was. Anthony, I'm going to throw it to you. What did you think about the game, Garoppolo, whatever you want to go with? What kind of stands out the most to you?
This might have been Jimmy's worst game of the season. I played Jimmy Garoppolo was so bad. He was so bad. Now, I mean, he had a couple throws that were nice, don't get me wrong, but it was just far and few between good and bad, with more on the bad side than the good side. I mean, you're talking about the QB sneak at the end where all he had to do was just wait for Trent Williams to get set, and that was it. And then Williams gets penalized for no reason, which is a terrible call because it should have been an illegal shift. But it was just atrocious all the way through. It was another one of those games where Jimmy Garoppolo just absolutely got bailed out by the defense, by Deebo Samuel once again. And I told you guys pregame, I was like, you know what? Kittle is my guy. And he was killing it at run blocking, but man, did he disappear for the rest of the offense. So it by no means was a hard game for Jimmy. It shouldn't have been, because I really thought that outside the turnovers Dallas had forced all season, that Dallas's defense was very soft. And we saw that multiple times where Trevon Diggs was just cooked by Brandon Ayuk and whoever else. And we saw Jimmy Garoppolo absolutely overthrow Ayuk, where he cooked Diggs once again, and that probably would have sealed the game. But it just goes to the statement, guys. Jimmy Garoppolo is an arsonist, and he's a firefighter. Dude puts out his own fires, except today, I don't think he put out the fire that he started. But in any event, they got the W. This was just another game that solidifies why DeMeco Ryans is going to get a head coaching gig either next year or the year after. That guy is just working wonders with the defense, guys. And, I mean, if I had to give a game ball out right now, if I had that ability, DeMeco Ryans is getting it, because he's the sole reason why the Niners won today, in my opinion. And that might be a little bold, but I really thought DeMeco carried the team today.
The defense was insane, and that's without Nick Bosa. I'm not sure if Fred Warner actually ever came back in. They kept talking about how he was ready to come back in. Christian, I'm going to throw it to you. He didn't? Okay. No. Christian, I'm going to throw it to you, though. I mean, Jimmy, 16 for 25, 172 yards, and a pick. Probably should have had at least another one, if not two picks. What do you make of this? Can the 49ers move forward with him this postseason?
They're going to. So, I mean, I would honestly, he game managed well enough for most of the game until the game managing got out of hand and he almost lost us the game. So it's like, you see how he barely game managed this game, and you're like, well, the rookie could do that just the same. The way this game played out, the rookie could have been in there and we still could have won. So it's hard because, I think we are so sick of him. We want to have Lance just come in, but I obviously he's going to finish the season. So we're just going to have to deal with it. But I guess I'm hoping the fact that we got bad Jimmy now and won the game, that we get good Jimmy against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Kittle was quiet too means we get good Kittle next week in the passing game. And I think it seemed to me like the way Kyle was calling the game was very vanilla most of the game. He didn't really open it too much. He had some really good play calls mixed in here and there that looked fantastic, but most of the time it was just, trying not to have us make any mistakes or anything like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he opens it up and just goes full bore against Green Bay. But I think the biggest thing is I want to give it up to the damn freaking the DBs. Dallas is a big play team, but I didn't see any real big plays. Their biggest players are their tight end at the end of the game. Like with receivers that can burn you and get open downfield, our corners didn't get burnt at all. No pass interference calls. right? Was there not one?
No, there wasn't. I agree with you that the DBs are going to get. The reason why I think Kyle was calling the game conservatively is, one, you try to limit Jimmy Garoppolo mistakes, particularly because this Dallas defense blitzes a lot.
Yeah.
And the line was looking a little leaky. They were not very effective running the ball in the first half. So you're trying to keep Jimmy Garoppolo from Jimmy Garoppoloing himself, which he was unable to do. He threw that terrible pick to Sherfield. There was a play in the first half where, he threw the ball to Elijah Mitchell when he was scrambling. Probably should have threw it at his feet, threw it to him. Conversely, the pass to Kittle, if he hits Kittle in the chest, Kittle can probably get a gain and not get stuffed behind the line. But then that one was at his feet. You have the 4th and 1 play where Jimmy didn't wait for Trent to get set. It's just a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo doing Jimmy Garoppolo things. And the Dallas Cowboys kind of killed themselves to keep the 49ers in this. I will give props to the secondary, but particularly to Ambry Thomas, because the one DB that I saw giving up pass plays, believe it or not, was Emmanuel Mosley, who looked soft in zone coverage today and was giving up some stuff in front of him. But Ambry Thomas, I maybe saw him give up 2 receptions, maybe. Mm-hmm. That dude played his ass off, and I thought he did a great job. But I will shout out D'Amico Ryans, who did make adjustments and did a good job of keeping this for. That zero blitz was a thing of beauty, and it was dialed up at the perfect time. So shout outs to them.
Yep. He faked that zero blitz the play before and then runs the zero blitz the next play. That's balls. I'm just with you on that. That's absolute balls.
It's like what he adds that Saleh didn't. He brings everything Saleh did and then adds a little because he blitzes more than Saleh does, and he blitzes at the right time.
I just want to say one thing. This isn't the damn NFC East. That type of performance, 17 points is not going to get you a win here. You're not going to put up 50. I mean, look at what the Eagles did today. The Bucs were on pace for 50 points by halftime, and they were playing the starters. It's like the Cowboys are used to running up the score big and getting all these crazy yards on the Cowboys, the Eagles, Washington. That's not going to work against an actual good defense like the 49ers defense.
Dak averaged 5.9 yards per attempt.
Jesus.
That's
Look at
terrible.
That's terrible. And that was without Bosa for half the game. I mean,
by the way, the Cowboys only had 77 rushing yards.
Yeah, we took the run game away and got the lead.
Yeah.
But all week I heard about Tony Pollard. I heard about how great Tony Pollard was, and he was
he only had 14 yards.
Yeah.
All week I heard about how our secondary was soft, and all these Dallas Cowboy fans in my mentions are quiet as fuck now.
Yep.
Can I just say this too as well?
We figured it out.
For Micah Parsons to come out before the game and say like, "Oh, I'm from wherever where bullies bullies get bullied," and then he's probably like, they were out there playing nasty football. They're playing dirty football, hitting after the whistle, grabbing players by the head. A lot of it went uncalled.
Randy Gregory was so dirty. That dude was so dirty. I don't know if you guys saw that on the defensive line for the Cowboys. There was a play where Debo ran the ball up the middle and there wasn't much there, and the dude literally just slams his hand into Debo's back to push himself up. Yeah. And it's like, bro, the
funniest thing though is with Parsons saying, we're not going to get bullied, blah, blah, blah. The first drive, freaking Kittle punked his ass.
And then you see that the Cowboys players were going after Debo's legs and feet, man, trying to take him out hardcore.
Aaron Paul's asking for a status on Bosa. He'll be evaluated throughout the week. He has to pass concussion protocol.
Yeah, he's going to have to clear concussion protocol. His dad came out and said he was fine. I expected to be something that he clears. I think that they were just worried about it. Yeah. To me, it looked more like I was worried about his neck and his upper back area after I saw it on replay, because he got stretched out pretty bad.
Yeah, nothing like DJ Jones running into you.
That wouldn't have been the case if they weren't holding the shit out of him like they always do.
That's true.
The offensive lineman took him to the ground, and that's why he was in that precarious position to begin with. As far as teams taking out Debo's legs, shit, if I'm going to try to tackle Debo Samuel, I'm going for his legs too, because I ain't trying to go head up that big
He's
boy.
so big up top, dude.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you're tuning in on Twitter, head over to YouTube right now. We cannot see or interact with your comments on Twitter. Head over to youtube.com/49ers Hive. You will see our stream. Join from there so we can actually see and interact with your comments. If you're saying anything on Twitter, we're not ignoring you. We just cannot see it. I'm going to throw it to Dion. Dion, what stood out to you the most in this win?
What stood out to me the most in this win is that Kyle does what he always does. He runs the ball to get his ass where he needs to go in the playoffs. Like when you look at that, you see what exactly happened, and you see Jimmy Garoppolo, and you see the numbers that you laid out. You see any other team, and they would be like, "What in the hell? That was a horrible game." But what did Kyle do? He ran the ball. We controlled the shit out of the clock the first half. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, the time of possession was just so lopsided. And then, shout out to D'Amico Ryans, man. Even when, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa go down, you still just keep humming and everything keeps rolling. So, for me, what I saw was the run game is what it is, and we rely on it to get us where we need to go. And, shout out to Debo, shout out to Elijah Mitchell, man. I love both of those dudes, and they did the work that we needed them to do.
I love it. Man, the way Elijah Mitchell was getting those chunk carries, it was really impressive. He finished the game with 96 yards on 27 carries and 1 TD, very, very close to getting that 100-yard mark. For a rookie, he's doing all you can ask of him. Ayuk finished the game with 66 yards receiving. Would have had a lot more if Jimmy completely didn't overthrow him on that third down play. Yeah. He would have finished well over 100.
That was another egregious one where you're looking outside the numbers. Jimmy Garoppolo and Tony Romo kept saying it, man, on those in-breaking routes. That's all Jimmy's hitting is those in-breaking routes. He hit a couple of nice short ones to Jennings, who has become KB 2.0 on third down. He looks really good. But the fact of the matter is, the fact that the 49ers were able to, minus Jimmy's 1-yard scramble on that play, go for 4.5 a pop on 37 carries, you're going to control the clock. And they did exactly that. Time of possession for the 49ers, 33 minutes and 57 seconds compared to 26 minutes for the Cowboys. That's big, when all other things are pretty close, yards, first downs, third down efficiency, total plays. 33-57 is a big one, and it came in at the end when Dak forgot to get out of the referee's way and couldn't, clock the ball on time. I will say this, though. I want to ask y'all about this because as much as Jimmy pissed me off, isn't it the most Josh Norman thing ever to give up a reception on a fucking punt?
I couldn't believe it.
He turned his back to the gunner.
Dude,
he was the
like
only one. They knew it was a fake punt. If you watch Ward at the line of scrimmage, he's looking in the backfield of anger. He knows exactly what's going on. And Norman just bailed. I cannot – and this is why Ambry Thomas is in the game, by the way. Yep. Josh Norman is – I ain't even going to say it.
You know what cracks me up the most, Matt, is that the Niners, they were rolling him out there starting at corner, right? And then they were like, we cannot afford to keep doing this. So they bench him, right? And then they delegate him to special teams duties, which are like, surely you cannot fuck this up for us on special teams. And then he still finds a way to impact the game negatively.
And it made the 49ers special teams worse than it already was.
Yes.
Which is unbelievable.
And they had been talking about it the whole game. Watch for the fake, watch for the fake. And like you said, the rest of the special teams unit knew. And man, the ball snapped. That dude ran back like his house was on fire and his babies were in the damn house. He was running as fast as I've ever seen him run. It was insane.
Hey, thank God Robbie Gold's money in the playoffs, though.
Dude,
hey, he was
Gold from 53. That was nice. Yeah. I was like, shit, he got
and 53. Right? He hit 2 50s.
Yeah.
He hit 2 50s in the 40. I
want to throw it to you because your man, Juwan motherfucking Jennings, stepped up big today. Not statistically, but situationally. Man, what did you think of his performance?
Who?
Juwan.
Oh, you're talking. Are you asking me?
We're asking Dion. He gave him the nickname.
I was
Juwan,
like, what?
I did. Hey, man, he came up clutch when he was supposed to. That's the whole point of it. And you're not gonna count on him to do every single thing, but he did exactly what we needed him to do. He came up clutch in the right moments. I gotta say, I appreciate him for being able to come up and get the plays that he does. It sucks he didn't get more involved, but I mean, he did what he was supposed to. He made the plays he was supposed to. So I cannot be upset with him at all. I really can't.
No, it was a perfect performance for him. I mean, 3 for 29, 3 receptions, 29 yards on 5 targets. But the receptions he had were just so clutch. And that seems like that's what he is for the 49ers. He's that KB type receiver where it's either a first down on third down or a touchdown. And they desperately needed that. Brandon, I'm going to throw it to you because we were talking before we went on about that fantastic 3rd and 10, I think it was, play call from Kyle Shanahan to Deebo Samuel that just about picked up the first down, man. I swear it was a first down. What did you think of that? Because it was like I was in awe.
I couldn't, like, the way it was going the past couple downs. I was like, okay, we might punt it away, but I believe in our defense, right? But then they called that timeout, right? And then they juggled up that play, and I was really impressed by the play calling, and especially giving it to Debo. And I could have sworn that was a first down, because I mean, from a different camera angle, that looked like a complete first down.
Yeah, I still think it's a first down. If you ask me right now, with every camera angle, I would still say that's enough for the first down. Perry, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Did you see because even Steve saying James was lucky not to get a flag on that crackback block on Diggs. I don't know if you saw that, but there were a few plays where they were getting a little chippy. And if you would look on Twitter right now, there are plenty of Cowboys fans saying that they lucked out. Niners lucked out with penalties that went their way. How do you feel about that? Because I don't really agree, but I'm curious to get your take on it.
I think, I have a gut feeling that Matt might agree with me on this, because he's pretty on top of when it comes to like penalties, but it's a game played by two teams, right? Teams are going to make mistakes. Shit's going to happen. We made mistakes that the Cowboys also made, and that's just a game of football. At the end of the day, we can bitch and complain about the officiating. And I really thought today was the worst I had seen it. Raiders and Bengals the other day was bad, but this was bad too. But at the end of the day, both teams are dealing with the same officials. And that's just the story of how the whole season has been. The officiating has been absolutely awful, but it's just a matter of who can capitalize on the mistakes. And the Niners were able to do that. They almost blew it at the end, and the Cowboys did, but you know what? We got the victory out of it, and it's attrition. This was another game where the Niners made it harder on themselves than the Cowboys did. And that's just kind of how it is. And I'm not just going to blame Garoppolo, because I also didn't like Shanahan's play calling as well. There's just a couple drops we saw kind of just here and there. It wasn't sloppy, but it was just the Niners definitely didn't play up to their level that we know they can play at. And although that is the case, again, they took advantage of the penalties that the Cowboys committed, and they walked away with the W. So, yeah, I thought things got chippy. I thought there were a couple penalties the Niners might have been called for. But at the fourth quarter point, it just seemed like the refs were just kind of throwing flags left and right. So you got to roll with the punches. Everyone's going to say it was Cowboys and refs versus Niners, when it was really Niners versus Cowboys, and the refs are in the middle. And that's just kind of what you have to deal with, Yeah. And we may not like it. Cowboys fans may not like it, but that's just the game of football that we live in to this day. And we got to love it as much as we hate it. Yeah. We got to love it.
Look, I thought the penalties were pretty fair going either way. That final, that last false start, I think it was, or maybe it was an illegal shift on Trent Williams. Matt, what did you think of that? Was that a correct call?
Yeah, it was an illegal shift. Jimmy went too quick. I'm gonna push back on Perry. I think Kyle Shanahan called exactly the game he was supposed to, just because of the way Dan Quinn's defense runs. It's a lot of blitz. They weren't blocking it right. Jimmy didn't have a lot of time. You can't call stuff that's going to be long developing. You see what happens when Jimmy's under pressure. Like, he had a wide open Trent Sherfield and couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He somehow found a way to hit a Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, which completely changed the momentum of the game. Fred Warner gets hurt shortly after that. It completely changed the complexion. You're talking about a 49ers team that had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter, and it came down to the last couple of seconds. And that's not on Kyle Shanahan's play calling. That's on Jimmy Garoppolo panicking in a big moment. And for as much as we gave him props last week against the Rams for being clutch and bringing them back, we got a hammer on him for kind of coming up short in big spots this week. I mean, again, we talk about Elijah Mitchell, throw the ball at his feet. George Kittle, throw the ball in his chest. Brandon Ayuk, wide open outside the numbers. You got to hit that. Trent Sherfield, either throw that ball away or make a pass that's 7 yards in front of you that a high school quarterback can make. 4th and 1, you're going to quarterback sneak it, and you're motioning into an uneven alignment. Wait for your dude to get set. Otherwise, it's an illegal shift. As far as the penalties go, combined 23 penalties for 147 yards between both teams. I thought everything was pretty fair. I didn't see one penalty that I was like, oh, that's like really egregiously bad in one way or another. There were a couple on the Cowboys on their defensive line where they were just like tackling our O-linemen on run plays. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, make it more obvious, why don't you, that you're like defensive holding on your offensive line? It was a sloppy game. And shout outs to the dude. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jake Hutchinson? I don't know. But somebody put out before the game that the refereeing crew was the same crew that called all those penalties on us earlier in the year.
That was against the Seahawks. I think that was Jake.
Against the Seahawks, and didn't call a helmet-to-helmet hit on one of our players. I think it was Elijah Mitchell. And I mean, it's the same thing, right? It was a chippy game, it was a sloppy game, it was a game where both teams were kind of trying to give some stuff away, but Dallas came out, and it was clear that Dallas from the jump was the more undisciplined team, and that a lot of the 49ers mistakes were from they were pressing. It's the specter of giving up that lead and trying to hang on, and that pressure that caused you to make some mistakes, and those little mistakes kind of compounded and kept the Cowboys in the game when they were just trying to give it away. But like I said in the preview show when y'all were here, Dak Prescott turned out to be more Jimmy Garoppolo than Jimmy Garoppolo was, and that kind of helped us out.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, some of the throws he were making were pretty, but a lot of them were like, bro, what are you doing? Who are you throwing it to? I just got to say real quick, I've seen this tweet from Jane Slater that Cowboys fans are literally throwing trash at their own players as they're going into the locker room.
Classless.
That's fucked up, man.
It's just disgusting. It really is disgusting.
We'll talk shit, but like there's a difference between talking shit about a performance and actually throwing stuff and committing assault against people. Like that's also, not even
I saw that I think it was Jennifer Lee Chan tweeted out that as Fred Warner's on the ground, the Cowboys doing like a "Let's Go Cowboys" chants in the stadium. Like it's just a little gross. It's like I've been to plenty of games. Most of the time you're quiet until the player gets up, and then you don't even have to cheer, but at least just don't applaud as somebody's actively injured on the ground.
Yeah.
It is what it is though.
I said it last week when I went to the 49ers Rams games. Dude, the Rams fans that were in attendance were super gracious about everything. They weren't disrespectful. And this is something that definitely comes across as like, hey, you guys were on your back foot to begin with. Y'all were scared of a 49er fan invasion. That's exactly what happened. And now you're bitter and you're going to take it out on people because you don't know how to control yourselves. Classless fan base. America's team, my ass.
Seahawks fans still the worst, though. That NFC Championship.
No.
Bowman blew out his knee and they threw trash at him. Remember that?
No, it's still Raiders.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I gotta agree with Matt. I've seen some Raiders fans. They're very, very
Raiders fans were so bad that while they were in Oakland, they stopped playing the preseason game because too many people were getting shanked in the bathrooms. Like, that's the worst fan base.
That's what I'm saying.
I gotta show you guys this. Let me see if I can pull it up.
No, wait.
This
Zach.
is just gold.
Yeah.
Hey, when I saw, the black chick's face was the most priceless shit I saw. The whole fucking guy was done. Her face was priceless, and then they showed her looking on her phone, going, "Look, I'm a meme."
Hey, you know how I know she's a real Cowboy fan though? That facial expression tells me everything. She's like, "Fuck again."
Right?
That's that face right there. Bring up King Kellen's comment.
Which one? Oh, here we go.
No,
he wasn't. God,
Dak was in the way. Dak was in the way. That's on Dak. The referee has to touch and spot the ball. You need to get out of his way.
That decision to run at all is Dak's fault.
That was Dak. Don't blame that on the ref. The ref came sprinting in there, and they didn't even give him a pass.
You got to expect that. I mean, there's like 14 seconds left, and you run a draw in the middle of the field. I'm sorry, guys. I got to show this one as well. It's just hilarious.
Joe Year. Dude. Oh, my God.
I'm done. I am completely done.
Somebody start off
send that to Skip Bayless.
Look at this. They'll start off tasting good, but then they start sucking. Caution, choking hazard.
Somebody send that to Skip Bayless, dude. Fucking tweet it at him.
So I want to ask you guys, because it was speculated by a less than reputable source before the game that if the Cowboys lost and struggled, that Mike McCarthy would get fired and they'd hire Kellen Moore as the head coach. I'm not going to call it exactly like that, but do you think that Mike McCarthy could be on his way out in Dallas?
100%.
Yeah.
They asked him post game, and for what it's worth, he said, "I'm 100%. I believe I'll be back here next year, and I'm really proud of this team." Yada yada yada. Coach speak. I think his ass is gone. I mean, Jerry Jones came out this week saying it's Super Bowl or bust, and you go one and done in your own house. How do you come back from that?
That wasn't their house. That was Levi's Mid-South.
Mid-South.
We got 3 home stadiums.
We'll call it Levi's 3.
Yeah.
Levi's 3.
Does anyone else think that Kellen Moore might get promoted though to keep him?
Yeah.
There's a high probability of it because he's actually the one calling the plays.
Yeah.
See, where we are, Mike McDaniels has a title, but he ain't calling no damn plays. I'm sorry. I don't believe Mike McDaniels does anything. He may be in the game planning, but actually calling plays, no, he's not calling plays. Mike McDaniels can get himself an OC job based off of what they think he's doing. But Kellen Moore is actually running that offense. And then at the same time, you always like to say this. At sometimes players make great head coaches and coaches because they understand what it's like to be on the field and deal with the shit that you deal with. So it works well. It's easier. Why do you think D'Amico is having a good time as a DC?
Yeah.
He was a top linebacker for at least a good 5-6 years. Like the man did the job. So it's
What's
easier
funny
to
though?
track.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think great players make good coaches. I think like pretty good to bad players make good coaches, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the ego, and that's part of it. And we said in the chat earlier, I thought it was real funny. Somebody was pointing out, oh man, McCarthy made this play call. It was on the lateral that got all fucked up, right? And I was like, no, that was Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy ain't that inventive. You know what I mean? And like that's 100% correct. Like McCarthy is just a guy. He's just there. And he's showing the same tendencies that got him run out of Green Bay. He doesn't adapt.
Discipline
Moore,
is.
you can see Kellen Moore on the sideline. And, to Deion's point, Mike McDaniels ain't calling plays. We see Kyle with the play sheet over his mouth calling plays on the offense. When Dallas was on offense, that's what Kellen Moore was doing. The only thing I saw Mike McCarthy doing was crying to the referees. That's all he was doing. And so the thing is, like, yeah, Mike McDaniels might get an OC job. And I think that Mike McDaniels helps out with Kyle in terms of like, Kyle doesn't really touch the defense. So, when Kyle says, oh, I didn't see that spot or this or that, that could be because he's conferring with Mike McDaniels and like, hey, what'd you see here? Hey, what'd you see here? When they're looking at different things and kind of doing that, but in terms of play calling, we know damn well Mike McCarthy ain't calling them plays.
Yeah. Ty Anderson, can we talk about how Ayuk juked Diggs into next year, though? He was handling him all game long.
Diggs kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've been saying that, aside from the picks, he gives up a lot of yards. He gives up a lot of yards. I want to show you guys. We're not usually big clips here, but I thought this was pretty ballsy. Pretty badass, I should say, from Jimmy after the game, right?
Wait. Let's go! Let's go! It's our house, baby. Let's go!
He got that from last week and carried it over to this one.
Hey, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Hey,
right?
he can stunt in front of the crowd, but when he gets back in that locker room, he can be there like, sorry guys, I almost fucked that up for us.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said in the chat, the defense came in and said, "Oh, Jimmy, suck a dick. We got this one."
I mean,
man.
Jimmy was bad today. When Jimmy threw that pick, I immediately tagged you know who and was like, defend that. You can't. It was a terrible throw, a terrible decision. And it was like, what, 3 series after I gave Jimmy props for throwing a ball away on 3rd down and living to fight another down, that he throws that shit. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. And he's allergic to playing for the next down. And I don't even think it was not even a 3rd down play. I thought it was like a 2nd down play.
It's like he wants to be a gunslinger, but he forgets that he's got a noodle arm.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger without a gun.
Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo's ability to make the Cowboys defense commit penalties, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, dude, they're just so undisciplined because Mike McCarthy's a bitch.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys had something like 6 or 7 dead ball, like pre-snap penalties, which was insane to me.
Extremely
undisciplined.
undisciplined.
They were trying to time snap counts, and they jumped off so many times. It was crazy.
Yo, can
This
we
was
talk
the
about
game. This was truly the game, and I mean, everyone's talking about it all week, where the differences in divisions showed its face big time. Dallas from the start.
49er minded. Why you wish Jeff Wilson got carries, bro? We would have had less yards. Jeff Wilson sucks.
Kellen's hurt.
We should.
No. This was the game where the difference in division and competition showed. I mean, all season the Niners have just battled and faced all kinds of adversity. And you look at the Cowboys, who are 6-0 versus their division, 6-5 versus everyone else, 3-7 or whatever versus top 15 defenses. I mean, it showed. It really showed, and that's just. It goes to show just how strong the culture that Shanahan has built. We can shit on Shanahan and Garoppolo and all the plays they commit and that we may not like. But at the end of the day, you look at the culture and just the foundation of the team. These guys are tough as shit. They really are. And they don't back down. They really don't. Although, it may not have been pretty, they didn't give up. They could have. They absolutely could have, but they didn't. They hung in strong and, they just won the game outright. And that's the kind of thing that why all the media members and, the national media were saying, who's the one team you don't want to play? It's the Niners. Who's the one team you don't want to see in the playoffs? It's the Niners. You have Green Bay, you have LA, you have Tampa, who all are great. Don't get me wrong. But there's just something about our Niners that they have this just knack, this chip on their shoulder to play pissed off, to play up to competition that might seem overwhelming. And there's a lot of reason why the Niners could have lost today coming into this game, but they didn't. And that's just pure toughness. And you got to just credit the culture for that. You guys, just another incredible win.
King Kellen in here, double capitals, double comment. Ref got paid to do what? Let Dak get in his way? And even if Dak does spike the ball, they still got to run another play and get to the end zone.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, they got paid in
tell my man to spell paid properly.
They got paid in Jerry's world by Jerry.
Speaking of Jerry,
go back and learn your English, my guy.
There you go.
Speaking of Jerry, though, like what we saw on the field from the Cowboys, I want to call that's a Jerry Jones effect. So we talk about how they're undisciplined, their head coach is a bitch. Well, the problem is that with the Jerry Jones effect, your head coach is always a bitch because Jerry Jones needs a fucking coach where he has his hand up his ass, fucking calling all the shots. Jerry Jones is never going to win a Super Bowl because that dumbass won't fucking hire anybody that lets anybody have any control.
Let's be real. He's won 3. I ain't gonna be like that, but I will say this. Mike McCarthy is not a disciplined coach. The Packers were one of the most penalized teams in the leagues when he was their coach. That's just not something that Mike McCarthy does. And for all his talk about he does analytics, it's bullshit. He's the same Mike McCarthy that got run out of town for having that predictable, stale offense. Mm-hmm. And it showed today. The only wrinkles came from Kellen Moore. And I'm sure that Mike McCarthy was like, why are you running those plays, man? Why are you running those plays? Yep. 3 yards in cloud of dust, bro. 3 yards in cloud of dust. That's what we do.
Sorry to cut you off, Matt, but we have our first reaction from Skip. And he said the Cowboys are better than the 49ers. They just weren't ready to play better.
No.
That ain't even true.
Isn't that
I love
the only thing they have an advantage at is quarterback. That's it.
I know Skip Bayless, that probably don't smoke. He probably don't drink, but he was smoking something when he said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. The Cowboys was not in no way, shape, or form better than us today. Okay. The only thing they did better than us was special teams. And they only lucked out on that play because that was a fake punt. So you can't sit up here and say that. I mean, he'll go in tomorrow and he'll be on the show and he'll cry and make every excuse under the sun. But at the end of the day, you win it. We went into your house. We won. You didn't. You have to learn how to just lose gracefully. When we was getting our asses handed to us at home, I wasn't telling anybody other team, hey, we beat ourselves or anything like that.
Exactly.
Hey, y'all got the W. You made it happen. When we do the worst loss for me was the reigning game with Carson Wentz when we played the Colts, because everybody made excuses for Jimmy in that game. Carson Wentz went out there and hung 30 on us. So I'm so sorry. Jimmy don't get no damn pass for that. You've been in the league a lot longer than him.
I don't know.
So if he could go out there and hang 30 on us, then you should be able to do the same dang thing. But I mean, that's just Skip being that's Skip being Skip, man. This ain't nothing.
I don't know. I feel you on that, but like to me, easily the worst game for me, the one that I hammered on everybody for, was the 49ers losing to the Cardinals with Colt McCoy and no DeAndre Hopkins. I was like, that's the worst one.
How do you think it felt to spend money on that game?
And they lost that game. And that's a division game. You got a weak opponent, and they didn't take advantage. I'll say this. Jimmy G scares the fuck out of me going forward. He's got 5 picks in his last 3 games. And you cannot do that kind of thing.
You can't do that against Aaron Rodgers. Not to cut you off, but I think I was saying what you were going to say.
Yep.
You cannot do that against Aaron Rodgers. His ass is going to find a way to make it happen. Do not do it, Jimmy. Do not.
And even if you could out physical the Packers, which I feel like the 49ers can, we play them tough every time. If you can't do it against Aaron Rodgers, you definitely can't do it against Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think the Rams or the Cardinals can beat the Bucs.
No. But
the Bucs look so good today.
We got their offensive sacks today.
The Bucs look so good. You know what? I mean, we all kind of discount the NFC East, and I won't say that much. The Eagles suck, but there are just some throws that Brady was hitting that I don't think many teams could have defended. Their third string running back was just running all over them, and they're just a very well balanced team, even with injuries.
Hey, Perry, did you see the stat that they said after the game that Brady has beaten 28 different starting quarterbacks in the playoffs?
Damn,
that's
28.
Crazy.
I also saw that he has more wins than all the quarterbacks.
That's a real one right there, bro. Like,
yeah,
that's I mean,
there's there's 2 quarterbacks I don't want the Niners to face in the playoffs. Brady, because I know we play the Packers very well,
and Josh Allen.
To get that far, Josh Allen.
Okay, I was about to say, don't you say Rodgers?
Nah, Josh Allen.
Man,
that's a scary matchup.
I mean, we had 6 sacks though today. I think, guys.
We had
against
5.
5 sacks against a guy who can leave the pocket and run around. Brady can't run around.
Yeah,
Rodgers can, but we could.
A little bit.
We should be able to get him down. We didn't get him down the first time, but I think with our corners being a little bit better, we should be able to get to Rodgers a little bit more.
That's what worries me, though. Emmanuel Mosley had to make 10 tackles today. That's too many for a corner.
He was missing a lot of those too, though.
There was one play where him and Ward took like a real shit angle.
Yeah, man, you commented on that earlier, and I noticed that too. There are some times.
I mean, props to Ambry though, because Ambry lined up primarily against CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch,
1 for 21, I think.
Yep.
I think this quote from Kittle was pretty dope. He said, "We stand on the shoulders of legends. We really do." Talking about what this win means to the Niners organization historically. There's just so much history between these two franchises going back 50 years, 60 years, whoever knows how long, but it's a hell of a win for the Niners to escape out of here, especially because they only had a 6-point lead. Man, if they could have just gotten that 7 points.
This was the biggest game of Shanahan's career. In my opinion, this was the biggest game of Shanahan's
I want to jump in real quick before. I just want to jump in because I don't know about Dion. But I'm willing to bet that Zach, Anthony, Christian, Brandon, you weren't like old enough to remember the 90s Cowboys games.
Hell no. I wasn't even a thought yet.
I
was brought me back to
I'm
my
40, man. I know.
And that hate bubbled up in me so badly today that like I felt it, man. And when he says we're on the back of legends, listen, I remember that 3-year series, 93, 94, or 92, 93, 94. Where the 49ers played the Cowboys in the playoffs and the defeat in 92, followed by the defeat in 93, followed by the vindication of the team in 1994. Listen, I hate the Cowboys. All right. You forget because Cowboys are kind of a joke for a while, right? But then you meet in the playoffs and it immediately switched in my mind. I was like, oh, yeah. Fuck the Cowboys. I remember this.
When's the last time we played them in the playoffs?
And I think that the players and now you guys get to be on this fraternity of the team, this historical, period of the team and another chapter from 1981 when Joe Montana throws the catch to now where the 49ers and the Cowboys just have these epic playoff matchups. And I'm glad that you guys get to experience that,
And then the other thing I'll tell you is
a lot to the team.
If you want to get some history on it, just watch Cool Under Pressure on Peacock. They detailed all this stuff that Matt's talking about.
Yep. Ty Anderson says, "Do you guys see that kid interview Debo? It's about a minute long, but I think it was pretty cool. We should watch it."
I think for the Nickelodeon joint.
Yeah. So young Dylan,
I'm down
right now.
Yeah.
All right. Evo can do it all. Samuel, you had a crazy game. You was doing it all. 100 total yards and a touchdown. How does it feel being mentioned as a running back and a wide receiver?
I mean, it's just amazing, man. I don't second question anything Kyle asks me to do. I trust him just as well as he trusts me with the ball in my hands, and I just go out here and give him my all.
Yo, what was going on through your head when you guys knew you guys won?
Man, actually, I thought I got the first down, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Kyle put the kicker out there to pin him back deep, so we didn't pin him back deep. So we got a lot of faith in our defense, and they went out here and got the job done.
So this is between me and you. Do you think it's 49ers year? Do you think the guys are going to the Super Bowl?
I think so. We got one at a time, though. One at a time.
I see you. Game.
That's awesome.
You got MVP last week. Yeah, great game.
Thank you. Okay.
You know what? That little kid's got a future, man. Look,
Dude, he's gonna be good.
That wrap up was so
on
clean.
camera,
He
really.
wrapped
was
it up
awesome.
so
I'm
clean.
impressed by that, you know.
That
And
was
you can
clean.
see it in Debo's face. He's like, "Oh shit, this little kid's like asking me like real talk questions right now."
Damn.
Good job
So-
by that little kid. That was
He
cool.
did
That's
it.
a cool
Yeah,
kid.
he did a fantastic job, man. Like the best thing about it, it was natural. Like it was
Very
supposed to
I
happen.
was
Like
flip
he,
flopping between
it
the
was
Nickelodeon
smooth.
broadcast. The kids are fun to listen to. They're a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah.
It's
I
cool to
saw
see
a
them
tweet
get like a platform.
earlier in the game, and I think I shared it. And it was like the Nickelodeon broadcast is awesome. It's really helpful explaining the rules to kids and to Cowboys fans.
I saw that.
That was
Hey,
a big dig. For
I
the
just looked it
Cowboys,
up,
man.
and the last time we even played the Cowboys in the playoffs and we beat them was in '94.
Yep. And we said it on the pregame show on Friday that the winner of the last 5 matchups went on to win the Super Bowl. Granted, that was in an NFC Championship game, not in a wild card matchup, but
It's still real, bro.
it's still real.
It's still
So,
real till it's not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with this comment, by the way. People always
Oh.
be like, I hate the Seahawks. But yeah, you know, I do, but I really hate the Cowboys. Because you got to remember, for a long time, 1, the Seahawks were trash. 2, the Seahawks were in the AFC West, not the NFC West. And that realignment happened, I believe, in the early 90s. And so we didn't really have a rivalry with them because when the Seahawks were good with like Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander, the 49ers were in a down point, right? And then we really didn't get into it with them until the Legion Boom versus the Jim Harbaugh Niners. And now, you know, Seattle's going to go right back to where they've perennially been, which is being absolute trash. So we can just forget about this rivalry. It don't even matter anymore.
All right, guys, I gotta head out real quick, man. My phone is literally dying, and I am not at home.
All right,
Appreciate
Dion.
everybody, man. Nothing but love to
This is Dion.
nothing but love to the Hive gang. It's a 49er win. We will take it. We are moving on. We going out there to Green Bay to play
On to
these
Green Bay.
stupid Cheeseheads. And I'm gonna tell you right now, we ain't gonna do nothing but beat them too. They know they don't want no problems with us in the house. Love all of you guys. Zach, continue to get better, brother. You know, got you in my prayers, man. To everybody else here, man, continue to keep holding it down. Thank y'all for having me.
All right,
course,
Dion.
brother.
Until
Take
next
care.
time,
Later,
my man.
Dion.
What's up, Dion?
All right.
All right. I got a question for you guys. Now, Dion's talking about we can look forward to Green Bay a little bit now that we moved past Dallas. We traveled very well to Dallas, just like we traveled very well to the Rams. Green Bay is not going to be like that. Season ticket holders in Green Bay are not going to sell those playoff tickets. They're going to go. So, in a true road playoff game, what do you think the key is for the 49ers to come out hot?
Run the
ball.
damn
Run
ball.
that fucking ball.
That's what I was saying.
Damn.
Run the ball.
I was gonna say force turnovers, but that works too.
Run the ball
Run
and
the
play
ball. Yeah.
stout defense like they have been.
You know, that was the big story in 2019 and even this season is that when you run the ball, it's demoralizing. It really is. Because when you throw the ball in the air, 1 with Jimmy Garoppolo, but 2, it's just kind of naturally easier to force turnovers because there's all kinds of ways you can intercept the ball or even get a fumble. Whereas running a ball, you have more chances to cover up. You have more reasons to block. You have more ways to just gain yardage. And you look at today where the Niners just dominated time of possession once again, and you're just churning out yards and churning out plays. On top of that, you're getting gassed by a rookie running back. No disrespect to Mitchell by any means, but when you have to match up against a rookie, it's like, dude, this guy's cooking us, you know? And on top of that, you're getting cooked by Garoppolo or even just allowing 3rd down conversions. It's entirely demoralizing. And Matt talked about it today, and I do agree that Shanahan stuck to his blueprint. He stuck with what he wanted to do, even if it wasn't pretty. He did what he had to do, and that was the story all season. It's been that way since Shanahan became the head coach, and that's the big key going into Green Bay is you just got to stick with the game plan. You run that damn ball, and you just got to suck the life out of Lambeau That was the big key too. Keep the ball out of Rodgers' hands.
We don't
saw it
know.
this season.
We should be able to run the ball really well.
We don't know. We don't know
terrible.
which day they're playing, right? Because what
Not
I'm
yet.
looking at
Not
right
yet.
now,
No,
it's
not
either
yet.
or. How are they going to determine that?
I don't even know.
Ratings probably.
question.
Would it be after the tomorrow's
After the game tomorrow night.
Probably
I think
after the game
so.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
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 Because it's like, regardless, the winner of that game is playing Tampa. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
why
but
the
I don't
holdup.
know. Because I feel like they're going to try to do one NFC, one AFC.
Yeah.
Damn, Garoppolo's family came out there, man. This whole crew went out there.
Well, I
He
mean,
still
that's because
fucking
every
put up a
game is going to
stinker.
be his last as a 49er.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Jimmy's gone after this year. I know there were
yeah, of
reports
course.
earlier in the season that, it's a very real possibility that Jimmy Garoppolo could be back in 2022. David Lombardi wishes. That's not happening.
David Lombardi
Greg
is the one
Pa-
putting
Greg
that
Papa,
leak out
too.
there.
Greg Papa freaking wishes also.
I mean,
Talking about that 3
Wow.
year.
I have no comment
on,
about
man.
Greg Papa, but Greg Papa works for the team.
Can we just talk about, though, like, I'm not really that big on how much they're bringing up, like the TV crew, like, this could be Jimmy's last game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much on him and he wants to get it done right. It's like, yo, just shut up. Let him play this game, because if they're talking about it, I can only imagine what the chatter is like inside the actual game. You know, it's like, just let him play. Don't bring all that into it, because you add all this extra stress onto him and he's not good under that type of moment. When it's situational stress, like under 2 minutes to go, they need a touchdown, he's usually good. But I don't know about all this extra, like, emotional and mental stress. I'm not big on that. I just wish they would kind of leave it alone. It speaks for itself. You don't need.
I will say
consistently
this.
talk about
I
it.
really do hope that next week it's cold, because I feel like the 49ers are the more physical team, and in a cold weather game, the physical
Dude, it's
team
gonna
is
be
gonna
cold.
win. It's who doesn't mind being hit more, you know?
Yeah.
Green Bay in January, it's going to be cold.
Oh, I know it's going to be cold. I'm just saying, like, are we talking
How cool.
Kansas City tonight cold, or are we talking about Buffalo, New England cold?
We're
There's a
talking
difference.
Low of 8 on Saturday with a high of 21, and a low of 1 on Sunday with a high of 14.
Ooh, give us Sunday. Give us Sunday with that fucking wind chill. Sunday night game with the wind chill. Let's fucking go.
Could be talking about a negative degree wind chill.
Dude, that every time we've had a game like that with them in the playoffs, so we just run the ball, we win.
All I remember is Cap going out there sleeveless in Lambeau when it was like 4 degrees out there. Man,
Running
that
like
was,
a
that was
horse.
some balls move. Yeah, exactly. Galloping out there. All right, guys. Any final thoughts here, either about this game or moving forward before we wrap things up? Perry, I'll throw it to you.
Man, just limit the turnovers. Again, this has been the story all season long. The Niners have lost games because of themselves more than they've actually lost. And there's only a couple games where I can think they actually blew, and that was the second Arizona game and probably the Colts game. Otherwise, it's like the ceiling is just unlimited for the Niners. It really is. And I'm trying to not put my bias into it because we love the Niners. But when you try to look at it from an outside point of view, the Niners are just so dominant. And you see that they make their own mistakes, and that's it. Dallas today, they weren't honestly doing shit until Jimmy Garoppolo threw the interception, and then Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't executing. That was pretty much it. So you just play clean football. That's all you can ask for from Garoppolo and from the team. And then you're asking for a victory. And that's all I could really ask. Just play some clean football. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Run the ball. Don't turn it over. Christian, what about you?
So I want to say, like, really, when you let's put the Rams game where we won 31-13, and then put this game. It's really a tale of two stories, really, a tale of two games. It's where we're dominant and we should be blowing the other team out. But when you look at this game, we have a quarterback who's not playing as well and keeping us down. But then we have that same quarterback who has his best game of the season, and we win 31-13. If Jimmy could do the same thing he did against the Rams in that game, and we can play mistake-free football and everything's working, who can beat us? The only reason we're beatable is because we have, like, Jimmy, who keeps us down when we're dominating a game. We let teams stay in the game, and then we'll either end up winning a close one or losing a close one, like when we lost to Green Bay earlier in the season by 3 points at the end of the game. So it's really, if you get 31-13, Jimmy, boom, there's not many teams that can beat us. But if you get like today's Jimmy, we're going to probably dominate most of the game, and then teams are going to be in it, and they're going to be fucking sweating it at the end.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it just, you don't know what you're going to get, because we could easily get that one Jimmy next week, and it's just, we make the freaking Rodgers look like a bitch again.
To me, it has to be Jimmy has to play mistake free. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott made some mistakes today. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 interceptions all season. You cannot count on Green Bay making the same type of mistakes that Dak Prescott is going to make. Top that off with the defense has to find a way to shut down Devontae Adams.
Yes.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, the one guy you had to shut down against the Rams was Cooper Kupp, and he cooked you, right? Like, you have to limit the playmakers that Green Bay had. If I would much rather take my chances on Marcus Valdez-Scantling or, Alan Lazard or whoever's going to be out there, right, rather than Devontae Adams. You cannot let Devontae Adams get open. You cannot let him feast. Otherwise, Aaron Rodgers is going to pick this team apart. And in a game where the Green Bay Packers are able to score early and often, it's going to be hard for the 49ers offense to catch up. Limit their opportunities on offense, run the ball down the defense's throat, take over Green Bay, just like we've done before, pack it up, call it a day, on to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady.
I love it. Yeah, I agree with you. Brandon, you want to share your keys to victory, and then I'll do mine?
Yeah. So basically, like what Matt and Christian said, just you gotta play mistake-free ball the whole game. You can't go in third, fourth quarter like we did this game, and Jimmy throws a ridiculous interception, and then the momentum changes, right? So you want to have the momentum on your side the whole game, no matter what. And I think as long as we keep with the run, I know we ran a lot, but it didn't seem like we ran that like how much we usually do throughout the season in this game. But I feel like if we could run like 40 to 50 times like we did against the Rams, I think we should be okay and not really rely on Jimmy G that much, kind of to bring it back in the 2019 NFL championship game. So I feel like too the players are ready, and they're ready to get back to that Super Bowl, and especially go off with the 2019 season. I know we had a rough season last year, but I think now that they're in the playoffs, I think they're ready.
Yeah. I have a quick question for everybody before we wrap it up. And I want to start with Zach. Regardless of what happens going forward, because of this win in Dallas on the road in the playoffs, do you consider this a successful season for the 49ers?
I do, and hear me out. I only do because I had pegged them as like a 10-win team back in August, and I said probably a first-round exit. That's how comfortable I was with rolling with Jimmy, because I had a feeling Kyle would. So they've already kind of exceeded my expectations. Plus, I don't know how much was expected from this team kind of outside that locker room. So it's not like Jerry Jones and the Cowboys saying Super Bowl or bust with the Niners, So I would say yes. Perry, what do you think?
Nah, I mean, as much as I want to say like getting far in the playoffs or just let alone getting in the playoffs is good, statistically, this Niners team is almost no different than the 2019 team. Dominant defense, dominant running the ball in the offense. I know Jimmy G is the same inconsistent guy he was in 2019 as well. Some different players, right? But the Niners got the same amount of sacks this season as they did in 2019. So everything's very similar, right? And just, I guess my way of putting it is you have the formula, you have the team that's executing just like the 2019 team did. The only difference is we don't have the first round bye. You got to go and execute. That's the bottom line. There's not much turnover. There's not much different. You have some different personnel. Yeah, sure. But otherwise, everything is just about the same. And you have the blueprint to beat Green Bay. You know how to go out there and execute against Tampa or whoever we play, if it's LA or Arizona, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to say it's Super Bowl or bust because, once again, I would love if the team made the Super Bowl, but you got to get far in the playoffs. There's no excuse. Jimmy G has been inconsistent. Yes. Kyle Shanahan knows how to coach around that. He's been doing that since, 2018, 2019. So you got to go and win. So no, I don't think it would be, that's a great question. No, I don't think it'd be a successful season. I like that players are getting development. Although Lance, different story. But there's guys getting development, guys getting better, right? So I do appreciate that aspect of it. But at the end of the day, you got to go and win. At the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan will, although he won't say it, would say it is Super Bowl or bust. You got to go and win. Everything is just about the same. So no, more or less.
Okay. Quick question, but to push back on that though, is it better that they lose in the divisional or the NFC Championship game than if Kyle takes another Super Bowl loss? Because I think it's
another Super Bowl loss.
I think it is. I think it's better that he loses earlier than losing another
Super Bowl.
Look it's better to lose to the Super Bowl because that tells you he can get that far. I'd rather take the element.
Man. You know that's not the way they look at it.
I don't.
Well,
look at how many times people hammer LeBron James for his NBA.
We don't want Kyle to be the new Buffalo Bills, though.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can look at it that way, but he's still getting to the Super Bowl. That's what matters, right?
I mean,
Jim
Kelly is not regarded.
It
just matters that he got to the playoffs for the second time.
I think the playoffs is more important. I think it's really hard. Listen, second place is first loser, and people remember that, right? Nobody remembers divisional rounds. Nobody remembers what happens in divisional rounds. People remember what happened in Super Bowls. Like, I get what you're saying, and that like would be successful. I would like them to, and I'm going to pass it off to Brandon and Christian. I would like them to at least get to the NFC Championship game, and here's why. The further we get without necessarily, losing in a Super Bowl, I'd love to win the Super Bowl. I think it's hard counting on Jimmy G to do that. I don't think it's realistic. But the further we get in the playoffs, the worse that pick becomes for the Miami Dolphins that we traded to them.
That's a good
So
way
the price of Trey Lance actually goes down the further that we go. And so I'd like to see them get a little bit further. I also think that Jimmy Garoppolo getting to another Super Bowl could cause some unnecessary strain. I do not want to see a quarterback controversy in 2022. I'd rather bid Jimmy adieu. Thank you so much for your service. Good luck in your future endeavors. Now get the fuck out of here. It's Trey Lance time. Let's go get him some players.
For what it's worth, there was a report earlier this week that the Niners still plan on trading Jimmy and rolling with Trey. So I would hope none of that changes it. I think you said you were going to throw it to Brandon. Brandon, would you still consider this season a success regardless of what happens from here?
Yeah, because I mean, beginning of the season, I was hoping for like a 12-5 team, but even 10-7 was good, and probably losing in the championship game. I wasn't really expecting Super Bowl at all, but getting the back end of the playoffs now and the way they're looking right now, I could say a Super Bowl win. And
okay.
I mean, I know they were up and down at the beginning of the season, but they fought their way back and they made the playoffs, and I'm really happy with that. This team,
they're a tough team, man.
Yes,
they're
and like I said before, like Perry said, most of the players from the 2019 team is still here, and they want this Super Bowl this year, especially now that they're in the playoffs. So I know they're going to be coming out hot next week as well against the Packers.
Just to add to that real quick too, think of how many things have to go right in your way in order for you to get there. So it's like, how many chances are you realistically going to have unless you have somebody like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes to consistently get deep into the playoffs, if not to the Super Bowl? I mean, look at the game today. How easily could Dak have just slid 2 seconds earlier, spiked the ball, and then at least had an attempt at a Hail Mary in the end zone? And what if CD catches it? What if something crazy happens? These things do happen in the NFL, and the 49ers have gotten the luck of the draw a couple of times. So,
sometimes, Christian and I had this conversation earlier where he was saying, how much is Brady luck versus Brady's skill? And I'm like, Brady's the GOAT. But I will say this, sometimes it is better to be lucky than good. Yep. And the 49ers had some fortunate stuff on their side. That being said, guys, we got to get out of here. We're missing apparently a hell of a game between Pittsburgh
you got to throw it
and
to
Kansas City.
Christian.
And 7-7.
Yeah, I wanted to say, for me, I would say just making the playoffs and Stu getting a win is a win for me, because for most of the season, I just wanted this fucking season to end because I was sick and tired of Jimmy Garoppolo. And the fact that we even made it to the playoffs, I think is good because it helps Kyle, because otherwise Kyle only has one one trip to the playoffs.
Exactly.
So now he can say that's 2. And on top of that, now he can say, hey, I got there and I got another win. And it's good for him for the fact that he got there and with another win in spite of Jimmy again.
Yep. Yeah, that tells me that seat underneath Kyle Shanahan just got significantly cooler.
Yeah. And
so he's good to go.
Would I love to go to the Super Bowl? Yeah. Do I think we have a chance? Every team in the NFL, it's football. Everybody's got an equal amount of chance because that's what I love about football. Everybody's got the same amount of chance. Do I think, we have a chance to get there? Obviously, but I don't see it as super plausible. And even if we get there, I don't want to play the Bills. I don't see anybody stopping the Bills in this playoffs. I could be wrong. And I'm excited, but at the same time right now, I'm thinking, I got to watch another fucking game with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's like a bittersweet, like, yes, another playoff game. Ah, shit. I got to fucking go with the ups and downs of a playoff game with Jimmy Garoppolo one more time.
That's Niner football, baby. Before we close off, though, we got to say thank you to our sponsors. Shout out to MyBookie. Right now, guys, you can get your first deposit instantly matched if you just go to MyBookie.AG and sign up with promo code Hive, as in 49ers Hive, and you will get your first deposit instantly matched all the way up to $1,000 and a $20 casino chip to bet in the MyBookie casino. The Sunday night game with the Steelers and Chiefs is already going on, but you could still place your bets for tomorrow, the Monday night game between the Cardinals and the Rams. Huge NFC West showdown, matchup number 3. The line is 4 points right now, over under sitting at 49.5. I was so close to winning $187 this morning in the Eagles-Bucks game. I bet 25 that the Bucks would be up 10-12 at half. And man, Jalen Hurts just had to throw that damn interception right before halftime. If he just got that touchdown, it would have been a 10-point lead going into halftime. But it is what it is, guys. You could still win some money. Like I said, MyBookie.ag, promo code Hive. They have been huge for us. Shout out to MyBookie. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. All right, guys, before we close things up, I just want to say a quick shout out. Jordan Elliott, Splash Coach tweeted out, Charles Omenihu was acquired in November for a 2023 6th-round pick. Omenihu had 5 pressures and 2 sacks in today's win over the Cowboys.
Fuck yeah.
That's without Bosa. That was huge. So I really do appreciate what he's been able to do for the Niners.
He did the Terrell Owens star celebration too after his sack. It wasn't on the star, but he did the. I was like, no way. Yeah, cool. No way. You knew we were winning.
We have to have the best pass rush left in the playoffs, though, guys.
It's close. It's up there with a healthy Bosa for sure. All right, guys. I think that's gonna do it though. No gold stamp today, Melissa. We're gonna close things out. I'm losing my voice over here. I do appreciate all you guys joining us, everybody tuning in. Thank you very much. The 49ers beat the Cowboys, got the job done. Matt, close us out.
Yeah, I just want to say hell of a win. It was nail-biting at times. I'm sure all of our heart rates were up in the air. Hopefully we can get healthy. It's on to Green Bay. It's always exciting when we play the Packers because we always play them tough. So everybody get home safe who went out to Dallas. Thank you for the 49ers takeover there. We love having you here as always. So let's move on to Green Bay in the divisional round, get that dub, and move on to the NFC Championship game. That being said, until next time, go Niners.